levels, and that was embarrassing, because I was older than everybody there, and it was horrible.
Yeah.
And I went back, did A levels, and that was horrendously embarrassing, but I got them. Do you know what I mean? Not brilliant.
Yeah. Well, fair play.
Yeah, and then I managed to get myself a job working within social services at Newcastle, looking after young people who'd left the care system, and they were looking for somebody to organise and arrange outbound activities and everything. So in a lot of ways, I died and went to heaven there, and that was something I was able to do, and we linked them up with Ocean Youth Club and sailing and different climbing academies. We did everything anyway. We got them out. It was a wonderful experience. And then from there, I was successful there, and then I got promoted into I was running a place for young people who were about to get fostered, and then from there I got poached for another job and ran another place, and it just went on. And with these additional responsibilities came the opportunity to get qualified. So I qualified as a social worker. And then I never went back. I never went back from that one. I just kept looking for really challenging bits of work. So during my time as a social worker, I've worked with elderly, I've worked with drug and alcohol, homeless people, communities, you name it. If people didn't want to work with that particular group, I was going to bring them to me. I'll have a go. And it was great, and it was fantastic. And then after that, I managed to get a job. I got moved up and became a probation officer. So then I worked with prolific and private offenders. And then from that, I got a job working at government office as a government advisor on drugs and alcohol and communities. And it went on from there. It was just fantastic. And then, but throughout that whole career, I kept bumping into it. Absolutely loads of ex-forces people who were lost. I didn't have a clue what was going on with them. Some of them, when I look back now, definitely had undiagnosed issues around combat stress, post-traumatic stress, whatever we want to call it. And they were lost, and they didn't feel they connected to it. So when I told them my little story, they would go, "Well, this happened to me, this happened to me." And we had a little bit of a bond, and I was going, we need to really look at what we offer people here. You know what I mean? Because if you come out and it's just a mental health issue, or you struggle with transition or identity, there's not an awful lot there for you. You know what I mean? And what interventions are there? Very brief, and go, well, we'll send you to this person who'll probably give you a label and say you're bipolar or something, which then will have an impact on your ability to get employed. And I was going, what the guys need is to be somewhere, do something where they've got the dignity back and they've got opportunities to have life-changing activities. So at the age of 48, 54 now, I've decided to set up something, and I set up About Turn originally, which was all about, the reason for About Turn was About Turn on the road to reoffending, About Turn on the road to drug and alcohol misuse. And we set up as a community interest company, which is a social enterprise. Not the best time to set up because it was in an economic downturn, and it was absolutely horrendous trying to get funding and things, but we kept going and we managed it. I think when you're passionate and you believe in something, you can manage to do wonderful stuff. Yeah. But we kept going, and then we realised that we'd be better off if we set up a charity, and then we set up Forward Assist in eventually that took a while in January 2013, and then we were really lucky from there. We realised that this is what we should have done first of all, and we managed to get funding from the Big Lottery reaching communities, and that's funded 3 of us now for the next 3 years. But we've also got, through the additional funding we've got with About Turn, we've got another 3 or full-time staff. So there's 6 of us in total, and we've got 2 or 3 individuals who come in doing specialist work around climbing or angling on different activities. So we've gone from being me and a great idea and a laptop and a car to having a little team here where everybody pulls the weight, and it's fantastic. They're all ex-forces. So we do lots and lots. So the aim of the organisation really was to re-educate, sort of guide and empower former service personnel, really, you know what I mean, so they could reintegrate themselves in whatever way back into the civilian community. So our little motto on the bottom of our logo is like Forces, Veteran, Citizen, because I think psychologically a lot of us don't, and I include myself with my little paltry military career, is psychologically I still thought I was the bee's knees and ex-Marine and, you know what I mean, all a broken Marine, you know what I mean? Yeah. I still thought I was there. And trying to reintegrate and fit into society, I thought differently, I acted differently, I responded differently to different things.
Well, that's 13 weeks or 14 weeks of basic training, and what that beast into the likes of you and me and so many others, brothers and sisters.
It does, and one of my guys, because I ran peer-led support groups for 3 years, and one of the guys came up with a great line. He said, the military are fantastic. He said, what they do is, he said, when you join up, they take the civilian out of you and put the soldier in. But when you leave, they don't put the civilian back in, and you know, we all went, oh, what a line, what a line.
Totally agree with that. And on the radio station on a number of occasions, I've said, you know, they spend that 13 weeks or 14 weeks of basic training making us what they want us to be, what they need us to be to do the jobs they don't want to do. But they, you know, I mean, what's a pre-release course? I mean, in my day, it was a week. You know what I mean?
Well, mine was great. It was a driving lesson. I had a week-long driving lesson, which I failed, and then that was it.
Yeah, that was it. You know, I mean, most guys, a lot of guys I knew leaving when I left, it was go get your HGV1 license or go and get your forklift operator license, and you know, and that was it, a week course. They do not do enough to reintegrate to make us back into civvies again. Totally.
Yeah, exactly. And that is the crux, and that message was coming through time and time again. From, you know, we had 177 referrals we worked through, and we were doing 3 geographical areas for PLN support groups. We're in the Sunderland area, in the Newcastle area, in the Northumberland area. But we were picking up the key themes, and if people want to look on the website, there's an article I wrote in there called Help for Zeros, about what happens to people who completely slip through the net.
Yeah.
And looks at all the particular issues and the presenting issues. So it's fascinating. So my bit now is really going, look, what I want to plug people back into is being a citizen, you know, and using those fantastic transferable skills and the abilities that we've all got. You know what I mean? We might have forgotten, or we're not aware of, to be quite honest. You know, that people have got really good sense of responsibility and, you know, can get up and do things, and you know, there's a lot of skills there, and we don't really pull them out of people. So we do everything really. So we don't try to do it in an old social working counselling way. So I don't ever sit on a settee and opposite someone and go, oh, tell me about your childhood, or tell me what went wrong in a way. Those things, that sort of thing happens naturally. So what we do is we do lots of activities, and we do activities that will benefit them physically, mentally, but also maybe just, you know, somebody socially isolate and get them out and about. So we've got everything. So we've got a weekly angling academy where we take people out every week, every Tuesday. We've got a qualified angling coach comes and takes the guys out fishing, and they do sea fishing currently at the minute because the weather's not. Well, it's just picked up in the northeast. And then we do coarse fishing and we do fly fishing, and you know, we've got a regular bunch of people going along to them sessions. And if you check the Twitter site we've got, you'll be able to check out on that as well. But the idea of that is that those guys will turn their hobby into a qualification. So we're looking at getting people a level 1 coaching angling course if they get the level 2, which is another big step. Well, potentially you could get paid from work from us if we keep using it, and the more veterans we get, the better. And that's multi-generational, and it's fantastic. So you've got our fly fishing coach is 72, and he's ex-forces, 22 years, but the youngest one involved in this about 22. You know what I mean? But the respect and the rapport and the way they positively influence each other's behaviour is fantastic. We've got a cook to give program where we've taught guys how to cook, because a lot of them were living on pot noodle sandwiches. So we work with where said, well, we can help them, you know, as part of their corporate social responsibility. Said, when we shut our kitchens up at the end of the day, our chef will teach you how to cook. So my guys have honestly gone from pot noodle sandwiches to the most incredible 3-course meals. They can knock things out. But we also say, like, look, you know what I mean? You've served your country. Let's serve your community, because that gives you your dignity and self-respect back and a sense of purpose. And we've got guys now go out into the community and cook for other disadvantaged groups. And we've done things, kids and their carers who've got learning disabilities or autism or Down syndrome. We've cooked for 16 of them and the carers and the mums and dads. We've done a group of women from the Co-op Guild who were all in their 80s and 90s. You know, they loved it, except they complained we give them too much. Do you know what I mean? Then we've done groups of veterans, you know what I mean? We're doing another group of veterans. We're going to be cooking for all the veterans in North Tyneside's Armed Forces Day, so the guys really get a sense of purpose, you know what I mean? We've got them all logoed up and got the chef's outfit for them, and it's brilliant. It's a fantastic bit of work. We've got the greenhouse renovation project that Prince Charles has thrown some money at, which is a listed 2 building. We're going to renovate that and using all the heritage building skills we'll get to do that. That's another thing. But everybody on that will be exposed. We've got beehives, so we've got 1 beehive at the minute. We're going to get a couple more. And we call that Bee Company, where we're going to be we train people up to put them on a beekeeping course so they can get a hobby. And then one day or other, so hopefully this year we'll get honey out of that. Which will logo up and be able to sell through About Turn, which I hasten to add has remained as our trading arm, and then that'll generate more money for the charity. We've got a mountain climbing cadre where we take guys out and teach them climbing, start off on indoor climbing walls, which we did last year. And then we take them out into Scotland, the Cairngorms, over in the Lake District. We've been doing climbs under the tutorage of a guy I was in the Marines with called Chris Pretty, who's got his own mountaineering company. And then we're off to the south of France in a couple of weeks' time, in the French Alps, where we'll be doing, putting everything they've learned to use. But even at the end of that, when they come back, they'll be going to get assessed for their level 1 single pitch award, which means they'll be able to get employment in climbing walls to do abseils and climbs, etc. So that everything we do leads to a vocational qualification somewhere along the line.
Fantastic.
We've got a thing called Vet Forward to Employment, where we get people placement. So Sage UK, who are really kind to me, give me an opportunity to use their dead space in their buildings and office space, and which is fantastic. And we get them on placement with Sage, and they do 2 weeks especially the guys who've been out of work for a while and need to get back into that pattern of work. And it's an unpaid placement, but they get a reference at the end to do CV rewriting and make them much more civilianised, if you like.
Yeah.
But they also do mock interviews for them, so they learn all the different skills. So we're slowly building up. We've done a fantastic bit of work, which I'm really proud of, in HMP prison, where we went in and said this would be good if we actually trained these guys up to be mentors. Our veterans are in prison, and we trained 13 guys up, and 13 guys finished the course and got an accredited qualification in mentoring. And the beauty of that was, as an outside organisation, we're there on the outside to support them. So what we've got is that little team of mentors now identify other veterans in the prison system. They assist the prison staff, and they also help with the other guys' resettlement process. So people will write to me and go, Tony, I've got a guy coming out in Hull, going to live in Hull. Have you got any contacts? Yes, we have. Here they are. And then they link up with them, and then they set up a package of support. And it's all slowly but surely come together, and we're hoping to take that a little bit further.
Can I just interrupt there, mate, because my story's out there. I mean, I spent 18 months in the Hotel Grin. I'm not proud of it, but it's a fact of my life now. When did you start this mentoring in jails? Because it's something that is very passionate, very personal to me.
Absolutely. Well, we started this last year. I think we started in April. We were talking about it for 2 years with the prison, because it's a bit slow, the whole process, when everything you try. But we started it last year in about March. We ran it for 10 weeks. So it was, I think, a 2-hour, 3-hour session with 10, which they worked towards this accredited qualification, which was it's a very basic qualification. Yeah. But the idea was to build upon that, you know what I mean? So you'd not just come in and go out again. You'd actually, the next day, would do your level 2, your level 3, and then we work out which bit do you really like out of this. Because it's not everybody's cup of tea, is it?
No, it's not. No.
Social work and support tasks, you know what I mean? Other people like to be involved much more in practical things and stuff. But what we found is the guys who are in there are really, really motivated. Do you know what I mean? And it's been a new lease of life for these fellas to actually have a role in the prison, have a purpose.
Again, can I just interrupt there? Excuse me, frog in my throat. I mean, I served my time in the Hotel Grim, as I say, 2007, 2009, and I was actually stunned. I mean, there's a lot of ex-forces personnel going as prison officers. But the number of veterans, being banged up like myself, I was actually stunned by it. And the governor of the jail that I was in 2008, let me and another veteran set up our own little group, and we met in the chaplains department once a fortnight. Yeah. Now, as I say, that was 2008. I had a lot of information sent in from the Royal British Legion about different regimental funds, corps funds, and all that sort of thing, because there were guys in there, and we never got a lot. A lot of the blokes, I think the pride issue, didn't want to admit to being veterans, and you and I can spot them a mile off. But, those that did come in didn't realise that their families could get help on the outside while they were in. Yeah. So, as I said, the Legion gave me a lot of info, and, I think that was a start. I know they're starting now to put veterans in custody officers into jail.
That's right. But they're not funded yet, which is the real tragedy. Well, so the prison officers do that in their own time, which is they haven't got facility times yet for it. Do you know what I mean?
Yep.
Crazy.
you know, it was after I got out, I met up with VIP, Veterans in Prison.
Yeah.
2 ex-forces guys, both prison officers.